on your seatbelt. It's going to be a bumpy ride.
Chrissie is hilarious.
Chrissie, have you ever heard of the comedian Basha K. Ali?
No, that sounds like something you yell at before you blow up a plane.
Basha K. Ali!
30 seconds remaining.
But you know what, good thing to say, I dabbled in stand-up or something. I have no disrespect for you at all.
I was very confused by the title, Everything Everywhere All at Once, because that's also what we call it when Ash takes off his shirt. I shouldn't be up here. I should be in school on the other side of the ocean. Woo! Welcome to the Chrissie Mayr podcast, coming to you on iTunes, YouTube, Spotify, and SoundCloud. So if you're listening on iTunes right now, please leave a 5-star review. Oh, wow. I went to the dog park and my makeup is everywhere. We're doing it, guys. I want to do a shout out quickly to some of the shows I have coming up. I'm very excited to get busy on the road this fall. In September 8th, I will be at the Cap City Comedy Club in Austin, Texas. Woo! That's going to be a fun Thursday show. I'm definitely going to plan some kind of time in Dallas, either before or after that show. Then I'm heading to Philly Wednesday, September 14th to do the Helium Comedy Club. Then I'll be in Springfield, New Jersey at Scotty's Comedy Cove, September 16th and September 17th with Kevin Dombrowski. Then I'm heading to New Orleans, doing 4 shows at the Comedy House, New Orleans on Fulton Street there, September 30th and October 1st. Then I've got another show that I have forgot to put in my calendar, but I'll be at the Bridgeport Stress Factory in Connecticut on September 22nd. Then we're doing another content house, just a few, same sort of weekend as the FNT Geeks and Gamers meetup. I think the meetup is on a Sunday. Our content house starts on Thursday, I believe. And to kick it off, we're going to do a Comedians of the Compound at the Orlando Improv. Come see myself, Gino Bisconti, Anthony Cumia, Alex Stein, Lila Hart will be at this show. This is going to be a banger of a show. And then we're going to do our 48-hour live stream from the content house. And hopefully all the guys you know and love will come stop by. And some familiar faces from the last content house, some new faces, some fun activities already planned. I'm trying to figure out if I should keep them secret or not. It's going to be a blast. And quickly, I want to shout out Nickel City Cigars. They are a super based, veteran-owned small business. If you're a cigar lover, if you know a cigar lover, go to nickelcitycigars.com. Use promo code CMP at the checkout to get a 15% off. This is all kind of like artisanal, crafted, boutique, similar words, special SAT hot words. These are very, very good cigars. I'm still learning all about them. The owner, Tommy, told me he's a bit of a cigar snob. So that's what I'm working towards. But yeah, go to nickelcitycigars.com. Also, a very quick shout out to flagranttriggers.com, my t-shirt provider. Go to flagranttriggers.com and you can get any of the Chrissie Mayr shirts. Rooting for Putin, Mayor, Make America Great Again, Johnny Dabbler, the Smayer shirt, the Simcast shirt, $27, includes shipping, super soft, comes in a bunch of colors, no crazy gay colors, just the ones you wear. All right. I'm so excited to have this guy back on the podcast. He is the absolute definition of walking the walk when it comes to paving your own way and fighting back against the woke bullshit. Welcome back to the show, the owner of the Rippaverse, Eric July.
What's up?
What's up? Coming to us from an echoey warehouse.
Yeah, yes. I know, right? My apologies. We're getting everything set up. I promise it'll be cleaner soon. But yeah, right now it's kind of what I'm dealing with so I can get work done.
I love it. I'm loving the like not glamorous side of producing a comic book. Like,
It can get ugly. That's for sure.
at what point, and like this might be redundant, like if you've talked about this on other shows, but kind of like walk us through a little bit. Like, how did you get from, man, you know what, I want to fight back against the woke culture, against
Yeah.
woke comic book culture, to now I think you've sold, are you at 3.5 or 3.2?
Almost at 3.4 million. Yeah.
Almost at 3.4 million in sales. You
Yeah.
have what, thousands, like, let's see, how many, if I read an article that said maybe you had 30,000 backers already.
Yeah, we got about almost 40. We're closing in on 40,000 purchases. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How does that work? Yeah. And how long did this process take?
Well, just because I know how I am, I committed to it publicly because I knew at that point it was out. The jig was up. So it's like, well, now I have to follow through. And so it's a way to hold myself accountable. So I announced about a year and a half ago that, hey, I'm going to do this. And so about like that day, I started really the inner workings, getting everything, all the foundation laid. So obviously before anybody ever saw anything, it took almost 2 years just to get it to a point to where it was ready to rock. You know what I mean? I pride myself in having the material completed, having it ready, so people could purchase it and we could realistically get it out. It's a pre-order campaign, but I didn't want to have people waiting forever. So we have people, that'll have their books going in the next month. And that was important. So in order to do that, there was a lot of foundational work that had to get laid. And we're still working. Like, I'm here, you know what I mean? I got my wife, one of my partners I hired are in there right now doing work. And it's like, this is my life now. And I wouldn't have it any other way.
And when you say 2 years, like it might, but it's actually not a lot of time at all. Like, how many people, and I can say this for myself, like I can think of so many things I have been saying that I'm going to do for longer than 2 years.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, for such a big goal, it's kind of a short period of time.
And I'm glad you say that, because you'd be surprised how, I guess, in the days of Amazon where people just get stuff instantly, and they feel like they're obligated to have it, how many people acted as if I took like 10 years to do this. You know what I mean? Not to say that most people are reasonable, but you'll get some folks that'll say the complete opposite. Like, I took too long to finally announce this bad boy, but I worked, basically every day, you know what I mean? Long nights to get it to where it was presentable. And I agree with you 100%. Like, it's a relatively short period of time to do all of what we were able to accomplish in that period of time. Was pretty, it speaks to the team that we have here. For sure.
Like, even if you were just going to write a memoir or your own book, like, okay, that is kind of more on you. Of course, you have editors, but it's like, you're a part of this team. There's all the artists. There's all the publishers. There's, I don't even know how many people are involved. It's just like, there's just something you absolutely can't do by yourself. And you said that this was a pre-order campaign. Is there a different way you could have done it? Like, could you have just ordered 20,000 and then just like prayed that people would have bought
them? That was the hardest thing to guess. You know what I mean? Like, how many books am I going to need up front, right? Because the enthusiasm I couldn't gauge. Now, we ordered we had 2 stashes. I thought that 12,000 or so books that I had initially was going to be enough. Boy, was I wrong. But thankfully, we had
12.
I thought 12,000 was like, I was like, man, I'm gonna be all right if I sell those. Yeah,
I'm gonna be giving these away for Christmas. For
exactly.
Years.
I was like, that's what we were saving that second stash for. Exactly, that stuff. Like, hey, I go to a con, or I give them to the stores that wanted to get them. That's what that second stash was for. But yeah, we got to a point to where it was 2 things. We had the rocky start that first day because of the website was bogged down, and then that second stash just needed to go up for sale. I thought it was like, all right, well, we need to get this product to them. So thankfully we already had that purchased. They're already like, we'll have those by the end of the month. or so. We'll be having those, and that should take us through like the end of the year, really, which should be fine because it's a massive stash. But yeah, I didn't anticipate it. I wanted it, and I knew that it was going to be successful. But yeah, if you'd have told me at 3.3 million, I would have been like, there's no way that I'm doing that much. But
how much did you think you were going to make? Did you think you were going to hit 1 million?
I thought that was possible. I thought 1 million, but I thought that even that would have been something that would have happened during the entirety of the campaign, right? It was a 75-day campaign. So I'm thinking like, oh, we'll hit them. If we're going to hit 1 million, it's going to be by the end of that. And like, we hit that like within like 30 hours. So,
oh my God.
it was my life obviously changed, and my business scaled up 100-fold in a day. It's basically what had to happen. I had to scale everything up, turn all my part-time employees to full-time folks, and get adding more people, like with stuff that I had to do immediately because of how much these guys came out and showed their love and support.
So your life really changed dramatically within a day.
Yes, like just like that. Like even, and I'll talk more certainly about this in the future. Like even as I look to like certain deals and stuff that I had in the workings, like some of those weren't worth it to pursue anymore. Like not joking, like that was lucrative at the time. Like, yeah, but then it became like, well, not anymore. My life literally changed. You know what I mean? And
was it like a secondary seller?
Yeah, it was like, it was so much stuff that like I had on I'm not even gonna say on the back burner. Like this was stuff that I had planned out for the next next month's year. And like some of those are still gonna be worth pursuing, but others are like, why would I do that? Like now at that point, my time I'm losing money. If my time's dedicated to that as opposed to other stuff. So life just changed. It legitimately changed. It's not just me entering into a new tax bracket. Like it's like my life changed, like for real. And it's like, my day-to-day doesn't look, me doing like for Cannon's sake every day. Like that changed. You know what I mean? I'm not doing that every day anymore. Like I'm here, and I do a video and so for still to get that material out there. But then I'm working. I'm literally here physically in my warehouse working. You know what I mean? Like this is what I'm doing day to day.
Like obviously, because you would never bullshit about this, but I think it's just so funny. Like you're obviously working super hard, and you've been in the warehouse like every time I've seen you streaming for what seems like weeks or months now. But I just picture like it's so funny. Every time you turn your camera on, maybe you're just spraying yourself down with water, and you're like, oh, just so like you. Yeah, I'm here in the warehouse. Wow. Oh.
Yeah. No, man. I wish I could fake it, man. It just sucks, man. It's like one of those things. Not sucks. That's not the proper term. It's more of, Hey, they say, you're a multimillionaire. It's like, well, I worked harder as a millionaire than I've ever had in my entire life. You know what I mean? Like the amount of work I'm doing here day to day, every single day is nuts. You know what I mean? Like it's just what it is. These are my obligations now, and I'm okay with that. It feels like this is fulfilling. It's not just work just for the sake of doing it. It's something that I enjoy. And obviously me being an owner, it's like, I love it. I absolutely love what it is I'm doing.
Because when people think of, and it's not even like all this money just goes to you and you're like, I'm going to go buy a hot tub now and a car. Even to get to the point where you made as much as you did, you probably had to do the work, like the full-time jobs of probably 3 or 4 people. Like you have to be like a one-man band. I mean, and it seems like it's a tight ship over there. You have a few employees, but like it seems that what you've achieved is something I would expect like a huge company to have.
Yeah, like it's still people even to this day, like, man, how the hell is he going to do all this with the fulfillment and all that, bringing people on board? And like, yeah, there were challenges, but it's also like I am working. Like, I'm going to be packing the motherfucker out these orders when it gets time to fulfillment. So I'll be boxing shit. Like it's like, and even to get it off the ground, like all of the people that I had on the back end stuff, which we finally got smoothed out. I have a great team of people working the help desk tickets and all that stuff. Like, I was doing that initially, you know what I mean? Like all that inner workings that we had to do it was rough, you know what I mean? And it scaled up so fast, like overnight. Like I remember my website team was like, it's like 1,500 tickets in there right now. I was like, what the fuck? Like, how the hell am I going to get through all that? So I was down there working. But again, we had guys that I could reach out to. I hired people that were like, my bandmate Alex is acting basically as my CFO.
Ticket? Is a ticket basically like a problem?
Yeah,
Like an
order
IT
problem,
issue? Okay.
website issue. So all of that sort of stuff, because we had those server issues initially, so we had to get all of that stuff, people's problems resolved, and like I was in there doing all that sort of stuff. And it's like, I surrounded myself with people that I trusted and people that are part of my community or I knew personally, or both rather for that matter. And these guys are rock stars. Big shout out to them. So like with the help desk stuff right now, like I don't even have to tend to that. You know what I mean? Like there's a team that's already working on that. So it's not just a me thing. You know what I mean? Though it was a lot of me initially, you got to surround yourself with people that know what the hell it is that you're doing. And that's the only way you can make something like this pop. And yeah, you got good. I've long known that if you got good people that are good enough and worth the money, man, pay them well, and they'll work hard.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's just the trust you have to have, because it's like I imagine you're like giving people your account numbers and they have to,
It's nerve-wracking. It's
doing
like
things on your behalf.
legitimately look, I don't have the luxury of just being like a regular business. You know what I mean? Me and my partners was talking about this. Like my operations manager was a groomsman in my wedding. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's type of stuff that, I'm doing. Like right there, my partners is in there, KT, like this is a guy I've known for years, for literal decades. You know what I mean? Like this is like for real. Like I wouldn't read, that's the people that I trust, you know what I mean? That I know that I could trust. Like even I know we've scaled up to where, me and my closest friend was talking about this last night. I'm like, dude, at some point I'm gonna run out of, I don't have that many friends. You know what I mean? So I done ran out. Like I done pitched the jobs of people.
You don't have other groomsmen that you can
I don't have other groomsmen that I could like bring on my team. So it's nerve-wracking to have to bring people here at some point, that are external. You know what I mean? So, it's nerve-wracking for sure, because you got to watch out. It sounds so stupid, but when you're us, you have to watch out for moles. You have to watch out for these weirdos who are bad actors. And I just can't be giving them my whereabouts all the time. I can't be giving them the whereabouts of the accounting and all of that. Like that's nerve-wracking in some cases, which is, why I was, those are the first people that I reached out to. Like my bandmate Alex, he's basically acting as my CFO. I reached out. I got two of my bandmates. Before it's all said and done, my whole band will be working basically here with the company as two of them. One's my video editor, and the other, as a basically acting as my CFO now. So it's like, that's my pool, but it has to be that way because I know I can trust them. But, not everybody is deserving certainly of that. And because we have weirdos that really despise us, yes, they would do something crazy enough to like pose themselves as people that are well-intended, and they have every intention on being bad actors.
So there's three of you in the band working on the Rippaverse.
Yes, backwards. Yes, I had three people. Three bandmates are working for the Rippaverse.
You're like, our new single coming out is called "We're Exhausted."
Basically, yes.
Have you been working at any time to like jam at all, or like have creative time, or it's all just?
It's all work right now. I mean, we about a month ago we had linked up and we recorded a new track out there in San Antonio. But other than that, right now it's just work. It's like something pertaining to the Ripper. There's no shortage of stuff to do, like warehouse work, the stuff on the back end that we could be cleaning up. There's so much to be done here, and it's like that's just how it has to be. You know what I mean? It's nonstop. I think it'll get to a point to where as we bring more people that are trustworthy, everybody has their thing that they're delegated to do, and I'll have more creative time. But right now, it's about getting this warehouse ready to rock, so that once fulfillment starts, we're like rocking and rolling.
And I mean, what I do is nowhere near like the size or scope of what you do, but I've noticed that the people that I've brought in to help me have been just big fans, like from someone that clips probably even this episode, like the clippers, to someone who's running the Discord. And I still don't know anything about Discord, but like the longer you do it and kind of like you put it out to the universe, you will get people who, the people that you want to bring on and end up trusting, I think really do believe in, you have a shared vision and shared dream, and they really do want to be be part of it, because we all talk about, oh, what can I do? What can I do? What can the average person do to fight against, woke culture, or like take down the man, so to speak, or, actually have competition. And it's getting in and helping, small businesses who are walking the walk.
Yeah, that's what it's about. Like, like a lot of my guys that work on like, the more remote, like digital stuff are all people, like, to your point, part of my community. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, these are people that like Rady and Andrew and all these cats who are on my team. Like, these are all people that are part of my community, and they believe in the vision as well. And they rock stars, man. They're absolute rock stars. So that's kind of what we have to do. You know what I mean? It's if you don't have to go external, there's no reason to. And then you're less likely to have some bad faith actor anyway. So that's the route you got to go.
So is it, you far surpassed what you thought you were going to make. You've made already triple what you thought you'd make for the whole campaign.
Yeah.
In terms of the response, who's been salty? Who's been supportive?
Well, everybody that I expected to be supportive have been, plus some. People on our little pocket of the internet, little corner, they have done their videos. They promote. I haven't paid a dime in marketing, nothing other than my time, if that's what you want to consider. But I have not asked of any of these guys that are on our corner of the internet to talk about this stuff. They did it on their own accord, and I appreciate them so much for doing that. And they went out of their way to show a lot of support, and that's to be expected. But there were also some that I didn't expect. There was also some that I didn't expect. Got my partners about to bounce here. And it's like the haters have been, I guess, the people that you expect as well. However, I will say this. There are folks that looked at this like they are jealous, envious. I guess that's part of what it is as well. Jealousy and envy. But there are some folks that you think would be on our side that unfortunately look at my success and this brand success as a threat upon them. So that's the type of stuff that I don't like, because I'm not like that at all. I've never been the guy that felt like he had to be the head honcho of anything. Like, I would love for other people, and because this is something that I believe in with the parallel economy and all that stuff, like, we need more people being out there, being great, and seeing their success. You know what I mean? That's what we need. That is a necessary thing. So for me, if someone takes the model that I had and all of the stuff that I did and can apply it to themselves, I want that. I welcome that. That's something that we need more of. But there's other folks that look at it like, no, I got to be the people that look, that the person that people look to as the acceptable alternative. So there are folks that will grimy, that will kind of just out of nowhere kind of throwing their shade and being snide or whatever at what it was that we're doing, because for whatever reason they looked at the success that we had as a means to like knock them, which you're doing something fundamentally wrong if that's what you think, because the old saying is the rising tide, sort of raises all ships. And there have been a lot of people that have benefited from this, and you should, but you hating it. Like, that's kind of goofy. So yeah, there's been a couple of those. That doesn't overshadow at all the support. Most of the supporters have come from the people that we should expect support from, and they didn't have to give it yet they went out of their way to really throw themselves out there and rally behind Rippaverse Project, and I thank them so much for it.
It really is. It's all about like the marker of time, because people go, man, wasn't he just talking about starting a comic? And not only is it well on its way, but he's made how much money? And it's inside of what? It's 2 years. You're like, it makes people go, oh shit, what have I done in 2 years? Or like, have I promised my fans something similar? Have I promised myself something similar? It could be people that like maybe they never even uttered the words or put the goal even out into the universe. They're going, oh man, like I just watched this happen in real time, like in the time that you could have had a 2 pandemic babies. You know what I mean? Like,
True.
He has his book coming out, and I noticed it with comics too. I noticed comics that like, okay, we're free speech. It's kind of like with comedy. I was like confused comedy and comics because it sounds the same.
Yeah.
Comic is a stand-up comic. There is kind of like the woke side of it, the mainstream side of it, and then there's like the free speech, not anti-woke side of it tends to be more libertarian, tends to be more right-wing, tends to be more conservative, but not necessarily. It could be like disaffected liberals, politically homeless people. Just someone like Tyler Fisher, whose agent said, sorry, we're not booking white guys anymore. And then he ends up on this side too. And everyone you think is on this side, oh, shouldn't we all be supporting each other? It's like, no, there's so much, there's competition, there's jealousy, there's someone's like, oh, I should be the lead guy for the anti-woke comics, or like people get jealous of who you're in with, people get jealous of the other shows you go on. So there's a lot going on, and it's like ultimately you are your own competition from last year. Comparing yourself to me or to you, it's like, well, you were never going to be me. You were never going to be you and do it your way. So, but it's just so easy. It's so easy to watch somebody absolutely crush it and focus, and it really is triggering, and it makes you go, oh man, I haven't done shit, So.
Well, yeah, I mean, look, I want people to take from it on a serious note. Take from it and be great. Like if it inspires people and people use that energy to kind of be like, you know what, I ain't been on my shit. And there's been people that reached out to me with that. They've been like, look, man, I was inspired. I was going to do this project. Sometimes it's writing, sometimes it's not. And man, I'm going to do this. I said I was going to do it, never did it. And now I'm going to do it because, I saw what you did. That's what it's about, man. Like I said, it can't just be me anyway. It never could. All right, this is something that's way bigger than I am, and what I believe in the parallel economy and what it needs to achieve. Like we need complete decentralization of all entertainment aspects. So it ain't just comics. It ain't just comics in your sense. It's like, it's basically all across the board. There's a fundamental issue. It's an archaic model anyway with how entertainment's being done. And in order for those alternatives to exist, well, it's a lot of work that we got to done. It's going to be a lot of work we have to do, and there's going to be a lot of trial and error based upon that. And I'm perfectly fine with that. I welcome that. And like I said, there'll inevitably be someone that's more successful than I am doing something similar, and I want that. Like I want greatness from those people.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out, because I'm very new to like the comic world, and I'm trying to like all I have to compare it to is like the comedy world. So when I saw this article, I'm like, okay, I wonder who's supporting Eric. I wonder who's like low key, possibly jealous or whatever, ideologically not supporting him. So I guess there's Bleeding Cool, which is similar. Are they similar to Bounding into Comics, or they basically write about comics?
They write about comics, but Bleeding Cool is more like a lot of the mainstream kind of comic access media bull crap. That's what Bleeding Cool is. So yeah, they're like more of a they've tried to position themselves as being a part of like access media reporting on mainstream comic books in the industry.
Okay, and this article here came out, not maybe 2 weeks ago. And let's see here. Controversial comic news website Bleeding Cool under massive fire for failing to cover Eric July's overwhelmingly successful Rippaverse campaign. And I was reading through it, and to me, it seemed like the guy, and that's what's nice, is having a fan and a community group that will, you don't have to sit. I mean, you're too busy to be scouring the internet looking for people who are not, with you. You're too busy working and dealing with everyone who is for you. But it is nice when your fans can be like, oh, hey, why haven't you written about this? Like this is a Black owned business. They're absolutely crushing it. And then I think one of the guys was like, oh, he didn't respond to my email. It's like, even if you don't get a response from an email, like you can still do journalism.
Yeah. I don't know what that was about, but this guy, that I believe John De La Rose was the one that wrote this article for Bounding into Comics, and he talked about Richard Johnson, and that's whose name is literally Dick Dixon. So that works for what he is and what he's about. But the article that he did write about the Rippaverse was a lot of personal jabs about kind of the mission and all of that sort of stuff. He didn't cover it at all objectively. And many other folks have talked. This is the biggest story in comics right now. And I ain't saying this to gas me up. I'm like, dude, I just went out there, and it's not even been a month yet. It'll be a month going into the next couple of days, and I will have outsold basically every single graphic novel, which is what they would have called mine. Every single American, not manga, but American graphic novel of last year. Like I'm at the number one spot. Like the Rippa ISOM number one is at the number one spot in terms of sales. You think CBR, all these mainstream big comic book companies will be all over it. Now, of course, if I had the right politics, they'd be all over it. Oh, look, this black guy, self-made, did all this stuff. They couldn't stop writing about me. But the ones that have done it, they do it like this guy did, and he talks crap. He does passive aggressive stuff instead of actually being objective about it. So the ones that will cover it take the shots, and then you have the others who know it's a thing, but they're going out of their way to try to ignore it.
I can imagine it makes them look so dumb, and it makes them even more obvious. Like, oh, this is about virtue signaling. This is about identity politics. It's like you're not about uplifting artists. It's just like I don't know. To me, it's just I wouldn't want to make it look so obvious.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's clear. It's clear and obvious because we've seen that. I mean, I've speaking of haters, which I can't believe I didn't mention this. This is other guy who's a black he called himself the number one black publisher. Unfortunately, that is no longer the case. And he had a lot of negative things to say about me because I appeared on Fox. Or I took a picture with Kyle Rittenhouse. That really pissed him off. I don't know why. He doesn't know why he's mad at Kyle Rittenhouse. He's just mad. But that guy has gotten plenty of coverage from the usuals. Like, oh, look, this black guy that has started his own comic book company. You know, good for him. You know what I mean? I had nothing negative to say about him until he, for whatever reason, start taking shots at me. But yeah, like, you know, and Dan Fraga, he's a comic book veteran. Big shout out to him for addressing this, you know, bringing this up to this Dick Dixon guy of the bleeding cool. But yeah, like these guys if I had the right politics, they would cover me. No doubt about it. And I'm fine with that. We got guys like Bounding in the Comics, like you're reading right now, they had no problem covering Gus. So other people, when we talk about alternatives, hell, you got people right now building an alternative to this bull crap that we see and what we're talking about right now. So I'm okay with that. So let them cover. But Bounding in the Comics is doing it. They haven't like John Del Rose. I think he brought that up, if I'm not mistaken, in this article. It's like he hasn't interviewed me. You know what I mean? He doesn't even know him and I have never had any direct conversation with each other or anything. Yeah, he was able to cover the success of this first campaign. So somehow they can figure out how to do it, but the mainstream guys can't figure out how to do it. That's because they're not interested in uplifting artists or any of that stuff. These guys are politically motivated and social politically motivated, and that's what they prioritize. Simple as that.
Right. It's not, you don't want to uplift the enemy. And you also, that means you have to acknowledge that you are failing, that you are losing, that you're, you know, if you think of it in terms of teams, like your team does not have the spotlight right now.
Yep, that's what it is. And they don't like that. They're so aggravated at that. And like I said, I'm okay with that. Like if they're going to be mad at that, they're telling more so on themselves than anything. They never cared about comics. They never cared about this whole fist in the air pro-black. Oh, it's another creator of They don't give a crap about any of that. It always had to do with different colors, genders, and all that saying the same bullshit. That's what all they ever cared about. And you know, so big shout out to them. I guess at minimum they're telling on themselves.
Eric, all you had to do was make out with one dude and you could have been featured.
Holy shit. I'd be fucking, man, holy shit. If I did that, I'd have been all over this goddamn place like that. You couldn't have got rid of me. Like I'd have been on every channel, you name it. I'd have been over there. Ellen DeGenerate. I don't know if she's still degenerate, if she's still doing that show.
More press or monkeypox?
Yeah. So that trade-off is up. Oh man.
What's gonna last longer? Rich Johnson wrote here, the last time I wrote something, I got attacked, lied about, and generally abused online. Something that he went out of his way to encourage, not really an incentive to do it again. Yeah, he sounds like a butthurt, like ex-boyfriend or something. It's like, just be professional, do your job, or don't comment on it like this. Don't let people know that it's personal.
And that's the thing about this fucking idiot, because what he did was he made the article, right? He wrote the article. It's passive aggressive. He took all the shots. People call him out on it, and now he's playing the victim. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, well, no, I gotta be. No, like, dude, you were talking shit. Everybody in the article is still public. You were talking shit unprovoked. You did not cover this in any objective matter. You'd think you'd be all over it, considering that you claim to care so much about comic books and all that stuff. You did not do even your job as a reporter. And I know there's some tweet where he says, like, I'm not a journalist, I'm a reporter. It's like you didn't do it, whatever you want to fucking call yourself. You didn't do a good job at it. And people called you out on it. They called you out on your bias. And now he's trying to play the victim like, oh, I was abused. Like, get the hell out of here, man.
Also, I still have had no response to my initial emails, which were read but ignored.
He's not getting a response certainly now. Why would I do that? It's funny because I did talk about this. Like, I saw email under that name, and I thought I didn't know if it was real because he sent an unprofessional email. Number one, it wasn't like at Bleeding Cool or anything. It was at like Gmail or something like that. It was his Gmail account, and then he said it was like the rhetoric that he used, like care for a chat or something like that. It wasn't like any professional email like, hey, I'm reaching out to you, I'd love to chat about your like this venture or whatever. That was none of that. It was an unprofessional email coming from an account that I could have been anybody. Fucking, I didn't know who the hell that fucking was. And he's like trying to play the victim now. Like, dude, now you for sure not fucking get a response. We know you're a bad actor. You've been outed as a bad actor. Why on earth would I engage?
I wonder if he wrote you like a half-assed email just so you would ignore it, just so he could say he ignored my email. That could be the case.
That could be the case. That's what bad actors do. They do stuff like that. So yeah, I wouldn't put it past them at all.
Like no grammar, no.
Yeah, it was terrible. It was a terrible email, and like I looked at that, I was like, okay, I don't know if that's legitimate or not. Whatever. And I Googled this guy because I didn't know the guy before. And I Googled that name. I was like, all right, he does stuff on the Blink. I was like, I don't know if this email is real. I don't know if it's someone like it's fake or whatever. So, and it was unprofessional email. So it's like, why the fuck would I respond to that?
Oof. Wow. Yeah, I'm sure he's regretting it now. Or it's what he wanted to have happen. He just was hoping that no one would call him out on it. And
probably. Yeah. He wanted to, I guess he tried to benefit from it and it didn't really work to his benefit.
He just wanted to keep his head in the sand. Oh yeah, and here you acknowledged it here. Bleeding Cool article attempts to passively clown on the Rippaverse. Isom, is it Isom or
Isom?
Isom, #1 campaign. We always knew that these disingenuous people would be trying anything they could to take shots or delegitimize what we're building. They can't stop us. Check out the video now live on YouTube. And you know what I appreciate? Like, anytime you talk about this, you're never like you're never like me. You always say we. You always acknowledge and give props to your team.
Yeah, it doesn't happen without them. You know what I mean? This isn't without not only the community, but the team of people that are behind us. Yeah, this shit doesn't happen with them. They absolutely deserve to be acknowledged.
Wow. Yeah, so that's the best part is like when your fans can kind of point things out for you, fight some of your battles for you in the comments, have your back. That's how you know you're making a really good impact. Yeah. So let's see. Bleeding Cool. Anybody else that kind of along those lines?
Everybody. All right. So there was like some stupid, I forget what the name of that website. Sports. They usually focus on sports, like Sports Keto or something like that.
Barstool?
No. It wasn't one of them. It was like Sports Keto or something like that. Okay. They wrote about it, and it was the same thing, hit piece, basically. But other than that, like the big guys are actively trying to ignore it. Like the big, like comicbook.com or CBR, they have not touched this damn story, even though it should be the big. They have no issues covering someone that sells fucking 100 copies, let alone someone that did what we did. They are not touching this shit. Like they're trying to actively ignore it, like is what it is. And the ones that will write about it, it'll more than likely be a hit piece. So, and I'm okay.
Yeah, I mean, how much coverage did that? I still remember a comic that was so widely covered. It was like a girl like swinging around on her armpit hair. I was like, why am I seeing like so many people talk about this? Like, why am I seeing like the girl who can like fling her menstrual blood? I was like, I was like, why am I seeing this? How come this is getting so much press?
Yep.
And yours actually looks like without knowing much about comics, I'm like, okay, this looks like a real comic book, not like, oh, we're trying out something new.
Yeah, nah, we came out swinging, man. This is life's work, so we weren't playing around with this.
Yeah. We got some comments here from Lil Chad. Don't say that, Chrissie Mayr. Eric has haters who are convinced he's grifting, and this whole thing is an elaborate scam. It's the craziest stuff you will ever hear on the internet.
Yes, I've never seen. I mean, you want to talk about just a goalpost with wheels on it, man. Like these guys are impressive. They're impressive. Like it went from, oh well, it'll never come out to, oh well, it won't do that well. Oh well, he doesn't have the books, and then I do the books. I show like, we got the fucking books right here. You know what I mean? Like it's no. They see me. Well, those tubes. Those tubes that he had in there, they're empty. They don't have posters in them. Then I go do shoot a video and I'm pulling the posters out of the damn tubes. They're like, oh, well, the next campaign won't do this. Like they're moving that goalpost as much as they possibly can. My lawyer he brought this up. He's like, dude, if this was a scam, this is the most elaborate fucking thing that I've ever seen in my life.
It's like a big long game. Yeah.
Man, we want to talk about a long game, and holy shit, like this was the scam of all scams. I will go down in history if that was the case. But what it is these are folks that are so ideologically obsessed that this can't be true. A guy can't come out there and this guy that they've hated for so long be successful, and the people that they've deemed as racist and the homophobes and sexist and all this other shit, they actually rallied behind this guy and supported him in his project. Like no, that can't happen. Like, so they try to delegitimize. That's Operation Delegitimize is where they're at now. First, it wasn't going to come out. Now they got to try to figure out how this somehow some scam or it's fake. And if they want to keep moving the goalposts, I mean, whatever. Good luck, because I'm not going fucking anywhere.
Yeah, you were supposed to be a victim. You're supposed to be like, well, I could have had this comic book done, but the system is keeping me down.
Yeah.
And
they would have preferred that for sure. Because that's what all the other ones do. It's like, oh, I have all of these hardships because I'm black and nobody wants to list. Like, I did the shit myself. Put my own money, $200,000 something dollars. I put my own goddamn money. I reached in there and I started this shit. I went and did it, so can't nobody fucking stop me. I published it my damn self. And you would think, on a serious note, this would be something that these people that claim to be so much of, look, the comic industry, all these creatives are fucking broke for the most part anyway. The guys that work for the man, these guys facilitated an industry of people of an industry that has left its creatives broke as fuck. And instead of actually looking at what we did and saying, maybe there's a future where, I don't know, creatives can actually make fucking money, you know what I mean? And be successful. They look at it where they would rather protect the same industry that's left all these guys fucking pissy broke. So if they want to do that, good luck. Good luck. Go for it.
You mentioned it, and it sounds very interesting, and I want to know why this is. Why do creatives in the mainstream comic book industry, why are they broke? Like, why?
It's the starving artist, like, we see it in music, same thing, where people for whatever reason think it's worth bragging because a bunch of
it's glamorized.
Yeah,
it's like very much glamorized.
I know you would know it too. It's like, oh well, I did a show in front of 3 people. Like, this is what you have to do. It's like, wait a minute.
Someone threw a sandwich at me. It's like, that's not good.
Yeah, like, dude, no, like that's not good. Like, you don't want that. That's not preferable. But this whole starving artist thing that we see all across entertainment, these people think that this is what you have to do, or like you said, they glamorize it. It's something worth bragging about. It's so many similarities to what I saw with what I dealt with in the music industry, where folks would say the way we did things was not the industry standard. And I was just the only guy that bothered to step in and ask why. Like, why? Okay, I get that everybody's doing it, right? Why? Why is it that we have to all quit our jobs to go tour and only perform in front of 3 fucking people and lose money? Like, why? Like, that doesn't make sense. Like, none of this adds up. And it's funny how they would much rather protect that structure that has left these guys broke. How many every time these Marvel movies come out, you'll hear these stories about creatives that created those characters that ain't see shit. Like, they ain't see nothing. Like, they're like, what the fuck? I'm not seeing a goddamn dime from that because they got fucked out of their royalties or whatever it was. They didn't negotiate well. That's what y'all facilitated. And I pay my artists well. I pay them very well. I pay my anybody that's part of my project. I make sure they eating good. And you think that they would latch on to this, not to like necessarily try to get in on what I'm doing, but maybe there's something that they could take from that, implement it in their own respects, and reap the benefits of it. But they don't look at it like that. They hate me so much that it's not worth it. They rather protect the guys that's been fucking them the entire time.
I think all these creative entities and the systems are set up for new people to be intimidated or scared or just not have the skills, not have the plan to do it themselves. Like I think there's similarities between like art, comedy, and music, right? You're starving artist. You have to. There's very much ingrained in the culture the paying your dues portion. You're new, got to pay your dues, got to do the shit gigs, got to do the ambush shows, got to be okay with not being paid. But like, you know, everyone understands that's the beginning. But no one's ever told like, okay, and here's the point in your career you have to be asking for more money and asking for this much more money. And at this many years in, you should be asking for this much money, or, you know, because you're trying to gauge, because you could fail 20 years into something. There's comedians who are 20 years in who are not even making feature pay yet because they just, you know, there's no path for any of this stuff unless you have a good mentor or you have an entrepreneurial spirit and you're really focused and driven. Or like me, it's like, okay, anything to just not go back to a day job, anything to just not be making copies and doctor's appointments for like some rich asshole. You need to be, and again, it's having the good people around you. And it's almost like these systems are set up for like a talent scout, or right, like the old school, you know, executive or like a scout to come and scoop you up. There's all this, I'm being waited to be seen, I'm being waited to be chosen, and you can spend your whole life waiting to be chosen, or you can just roll up your sleeves and do it in 2 years, or do something in 2 years.
100%. Like that's the way. Like in the digital age that we are in now, it's more possible for people to have a direct line of sight with their audience anyway. A lot of this stuff is just like fat that needs to be trimmed, like that these middlemen, like, you know, in the music industry, like you could be an artist, right? Or a band. In a band, y'all can get 1 million fucking plays, 1 million views on your music video, and all 5 of you motherfuckers broke. You know who ain't broke? The guy that produced your shit, the person or the group of people, the A&R that discovered your
same thing as porn too. Like that, you could very easily, like definitely in the pre-OnlyFans era, very easily be broke.
And be like, broke as fuck. Everybody, and I don't believe in the fact that, okay, if everybody's seeing my shit or everybody's enjoying whatever it is that you do, shouldn't you be reaping the benefits from it? That just seems logical to fucking me. But so many folks, the struggling, starving artist approach, got these guys in the fucking deals where they're getting destroyed, and then they have nerve to fucking brag about the shit, or worse, hate someone for daring to be like, you know what, maybe I don't want to fucking do what y'all doing. You know what I mean? Maybe I don't know, I want to get paid, or rather I should be at minimum reaping the most benefit. Why is it that in the music business, like with these bands, that if you're not like a massive one, you know what I mean, but you do relatively well for yourself, you got y'all 5 that actually perform the fucking music, right, that people are listening to, yet again, there's everybody else is getting the money. The producers getting the money, the A&Rs got the money, that getting paid to whatever salary maybe they're paying. The fucking label itself is getting paid because, you know, you're gonna jump into some deal, 80-20 deal or something like that, where you got to make 20% of what you making from the record or whatever is going to this pool where you have to make the money back that they gave you to pay for the record. It's kind of a Ponzi scheme, because they're like, hey, we're going to give you all this money. You got to go to the producer that we want you to go to. And all that money that we paid for that to get this shit recorded, well, you got to pay that back with that 20% that you're going to be making. And then after that, which may be fucking never, you'll finally start to make money off of your shit. Nobody questions it. This is the industry standard. Wow. So many metal bands that are doing this right now. And that's why a lot of y'all's favorite fucking artists don't got shit. They don't have nothing. They still, this is why a lot of them go with that kumbaya, not even kumbaya. It's like fist in the air. I'm down with the establishment, because the establishment is the one fucking them, but they too stupid to understand that they ended in that deal, and that doesn't have to be that way. They're just going through the motions.
You wonder if is it a failure? Is it a fear of success? Is it a fear of failure? Because I'm just looking at all the steps you take. I'm sure a lot of people would knock themselves out. It's like, oh, are you willing to put in your life, dump your life savings into this? Yes or no? No? All right, well, you're going to stay where you are. Yes? Okay, you can move on to the next. And it's like, you have to be willing to take 20 risks. You know what I mean? And you could be knocked out at any point along the way. You have to be all in.
100%. And this is why it's so frustrating me from even an economic perspective. And obviously, as a guy who just now entered into like a brand new fucking tax bracket, like, I know the amount of work that I fucking had to do and the risk that I fucking took. Like when the money was piling up with the Rippaverse stuff, you know what I mean? When that money was piling up, I'm sitting here watch all of this shit go down, and I'm like, wow, bro, if this don't work the fuck out, man, like I'm gonna have some problems. You know what I mean? Like for real. And thank God that that we didn't run in that. But yeah, there are risks that are going to be certainly involved, and I took that risk, and I'm now reaping the fucking benefits. But you got people taking the risk, and then even then they see success because they got all these middlemen involved. They'll see the success and won't see shit, won't see a dime from it, or it'll be minimal.
Right. And a lot of people are just they're seeing the positive articles about you. They're seeing 3.4 million and they're going, oh, what is, God, he doesn't deserve that. My art is better. My concept is better. And like, nobody is there with, of course, obviously your wife and your team, they're with you every step of the way, every risk, every like nail biting.
Wife's in there right now, like working right now.
This is our whole savings. Yeah. She's
she's like literally
licking envelopes or something.
Yeah, it's like she's over there. She's actually putting bags in the board. So it's close to basically licking envelopes. Basically what it's like. This is our work. Like this is what we had to do to get in this position. And yeah, like people knock it. Like you have those weirdos again. Back to the haters. I know this was a guy, for guys that follow me on Twitter. You saw this guy who had been in comics, and he dared to say something like, "People just want to see you earn your spot." I was like, "Wait a minute." Earn fucking what spot? I don't answer to any of you motherfuckers. Like, that's the point. Ain't no spot I gotta fucking earn.
See, there's the idea of the dues again. Yeah, like in people's minds, they go, well, I've been in this 10, 20 years longer than him. So in my mind, he hasn't paid his dues, but they're using it with their system.
Yeah.
What's in their head of who deserves what. And it's like the market decides who deserves
not
what.
You motherfucker. So that ain't my fault that you've been doing whatever for 2 decades and you haven't seen the success that you thought that you was owed. And so you saw me kind of, they look at it like I just skipped the line, right? Like I just came in here and said, fuck it, I'm gonna do whatever it is that I do. And we saw the success. They like, well, he didn't go through the proper channels. Like, well, fuck y'all. Who cares? Like that ain't got nothing to do with me. That's your problem. If anything, again, you should see this and you should want to look, man, I'm not keeping this as close to the chest like other folks.
You're for everybody. Everyone should skip the fucking line.
I want everybody to eat. You know what I mean? So go ahead and get out there and get it. If there's something that you could take from this and you could implement it in your own stuff, go for it. Fucking go for it. You know, we're having a whole content series that we're about to start where we go through the grind process of like, what did I do to get to this position? Like where I say, all right, this is how I did this is how I did that. And maybe there's stuff that people have never considered that they could get something from this. That I want that. Like I want people to be able to take this because I actually believe in this message of a parallel economy, but I want people to be able to take it and implement it for themselves and be great. That's what I want and expect. And I would love to see other people flourish, but other folks are like, well, he didn't go through the proper channels. Like, well, that ain't my fault.
Yeah, the proper channels sometimes waste your time and get you stuck. And the proper channels are run by people who don't want to see you win.
Yep. Yeah, that's how I guess that they look at it. It's like the misery loves company is the old saying, right? So they look at it like, well, shit, they got in a shitty situation. Therefore, I'm obligated to go through that same stuff. And it's like, nah, not at all. It's not his work.
You see the same thing when like a YouTuber or a TikTok person skips the line with comedy. They blow up, they have a huge audience, and a manager will be like, "Oh, hey, let's figure out a way for you to do 45 to an hour minutes of stand up on stage." And people see that they go, "What?" Like I think of this example. I think her name's Pinky Patel. She's like this random Indian chick. She blew up on TikTok and she's headlining rooms, and comics get so salty over that because it's like a big old line skip. It's like no. You have to look at the point of view from the people who work at these venues that are trying to sell seats and sell shows. It's not the old way anymore where you just like you have a late night show and poof, you have a career laid out for you for 30 years. Like you're all done. It's like, no, you got to work for it every day. And it's like, if you're going to waste your time being jealous of these TikTok people, people are jealous weirdly for me at me for having a podcast and maybe skipping the line in a small way. They're like, well, you didn't like grind it out on the road for 20 years. It's like, you got a podcast. It's like, okay, we're all doing it. The point is, how can you find your people that are going to go to your show? So it's like, why are you bagging on me because I found my people? Go out there and find your people, because it's not like I took your people from you.
I ain't stopping you, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't it, like, dude, like, it's the fixed pie, you know what I mean? Kind of fallacy where they look at it like the pie can't grow, you know what I mean? So they like, well, some other person being a success means that it's a threat to me and mine. And it's like, that's economically illiterate. And that's not how this shit works. Yeah, they could go be great. And you can also go out there and be great as well. And you can increase the demand for whatever industry it is that you're in. But these people that look at it like those are the people that I'm so weary of. Folks just see somebody be great and they're like, well, that should be me. And they didn't do what we did, and so fuck them. Like, that's not how this shit works.
Because it's easier to be negative and shit on somebody than it is to like take a hard look at yourself and be like, what am I doing that's not working?
Yeah.
Like, what in my pattern, what in my process do I need to tweak? Because what you think is the right path, it's like, maybe that's not working for you.
No.
Well, clearly it's not. We won't be jealous and have feelings. Ghost in the Craig says, congrats, Rippa. Toy Story theme plays.
I appreciate that, man.
Corn Pop, thanks for not banning me. I don't know if that's, I mean, yeah, be on your good behavior. I don't know. Crash Mondo, shout out to Rippa. ISOM #1 will be my first comic, and I couldn't be more hyped. Be sure to rest your wrists. Don't need you getting carpal tunnel. Yeah, have you started signing them yet?
Tomorrow's the 10th, so tomorrow we start signing. And yeah,
how many do you have to sign?
It's like almost 10,000 if I'm not mistaken.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
yeah, man, it's gonna be a fun one, man. But you'll be surprised how quick we can move. But I remember we signed these lyric sheets. I had like 5,000 lyric sheets that I needed to sign for Backwards, our first album that dropped, and we got through them bitches in like a week. You know what I mean? It was something like that, some crazy number. And I was like flying through them like easy, like, and not no like shitty signature anyway either. I was like legitimately signing them. So we got to get a little chain, little assembly line, and we'll figure it out. Like, hey, book, bam, and we'll figure it out.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's awesome. I should have ordered a signature copy.
Yeah.
I didn't think so.
Yeah, it got so big to where I had to cut it off. I was like, all right, Wednesday on this date, I was like, all right, get them in, because y'all gonna fucking kill me.
And good for you, because like I know people, you could make a stamp made of your signature.
Yeah, nah. Well, I want a legitimate signature. Yeah.
JS Pena, make Ryan a villain in the Rippaverse, please.
Oh man. Maybe I consider it.
That was a very cool you had an offering of like you could be a character.
Yeah, but canonized. Yeah. I tried to price everybody out of that and it didn't work. Like we had 5, it was like $5,000. I'm like, there's no way that many people are gonna get that. Them shits was gone like immediately. I was like, fuck, man. I should have made that shit like, I should have made it like probably closer to 10 to 15 or something like that. Cause yeah, I completely undershot that. Them shits was gone like immediately. Like it was one where that needed it. I guess I can't remember if he double ordered or something. We had to like refund one. And like I was doing a stream when we were gonna announce like, hey, one's gonna be available. I barely could finish my fucking sentence. And the one that went back on the market was already gone. Like it was these motherfuckers are psychos, man. I appreciate it.
Would it be so funny if it's like one of your haters? Or what if it was that guy that said like you were nervously drinking or something? Who was the guy that said you're only famous because of Nerdrotic?
Yeah, and Geeks and Gamers and shit. Yeah, that fat motherfucker. Yeah, he's probably not having a good time right now either.
No, he probably is like begrudgingly like, I'm gonna order just one.
I put him in it. He might not like it, but I for sure put him in it. If he pays $5,000, I didn't say how you would had to be canonized. I just said that you had to be canonized.
It would just be him, like fat in his studio, surrounded by his boys. Like I get mo bitches. Yeah.
That's what everybody was joking. That's what his name was going to be. Yeah, like that
character name. Mo bitches.
Mo bitches. That's what the joke. Well, we made the joke on Tuesday night's main event that was going to be his name. Mo bitches.
That sounds good. So there's 5 people now, 5 new characters.
Five canonized characters. Yep.
Wow, that's really cool. I can't wait to see what they look like. Corn Pop's still not banned. Good for you, buddy. Keep up the good work. Robbie 13, my son and I can't wait to get our A and C covers.
Nice. That cover A came out, man. Like that bad boy came out like pretty fucking good. Like it's like we got it. This is how it looks bagged and boarded.
Hold on, solo.
Like this is how it looks bagged and boarded. You can see it's a pretty big book, but it looks so good, man.
Wow.
It came out very well. Cover A. I love the turnout on that for sure.
That's exciting. 32 flavors of Nick Weiser. Oh, Dix Davidson assemble and support the Rippaverse.
Okay.
Nice. Like, okay, I don't know what that is. Ruben Prime, thanks for becoming a member. Andy Masterson, Eric, if Chrissy becomes a Rippaverse character, will she still be a redhead?
well, yeah, I'm not Hollywood, so I'll be sure that she won't be like black out of nowhere or something like that. I'll make a legitimate redhead.
LOL, congrats, man. Can't wait to get my first book.
Hell yeah, can't wait for you to get it. Big shout out to Andy, man. He sent me like these action figures, man, or bucket.
Oh yeah,
like the one that he did of me was just
the
nuts.
creator. This is my most. This is going to be a family heirloom. This Hunter Biden action figure.
That's pretty good.
I did a whole separate video. He actually arrived just in his underpants, like classic, in his classic Hunter outfit, like with and then all the accessories he sent. Like, it feels weird to be pantsing my doll, but sent like a little laptop, a little like Idiot's Guide to Ukraine. So funny. It's like
so
a little, like 2 little crack pipes.
It's pretty good. Yeah, Eddie does a great job, man. Big shout out to him.
Yeah, he did one of me too. Yeah, he sent me a lot of fun dolls over the months. Heinrich, talent and grit.
That's what it takes.
Yep, and seriously, risk taking and really rejection has to become your friend.
Oh, like, 100%. You got to get used to that.
Over yourself. Yep. Yeah,
very quick. You will be humbled for sure. So,
Slag Attack, you found a way to tour and make money. I'll fund the hell out of that book for dummies.
Exactly. That's crazy, man. Like, it's how. Like, it's just not a standard. Like, a lot of folks, like a lot of people's favorite bands, man, are like not making a lot of money. I mean, and that's why a lot of them are touring like 10 months out of the year, because that's the only way they can make money. You know what I mean? Because they're not getting anything from that fucking record. They ain't
name any bands that you know for sure are like not doing well. That a lot of people are doing well.
I would say this: we've toured with, all right, so for you guys that can go look up my previous tours, me and like if you look at those tours that we did, like right when Veracity dropped, there was some bands on that, and we had the decked out. We have a Sprinter, Mercedes Sprinter, decked out, gutted, has like the we gutted it. It has like bunks, TVs, refrigerators, all kinds of shit. It's like nice. We were out of that whole both those tours that we did initially, and those are bands that, again, millions of views on various tracks and shit. Like they were coming up in there and then beat up fucking vans, sleeping in the back of them bitches, like fucking struggling. They were asking us, quote, we were the new band. You know what I mean? They were asking us, like, how the fuck did y'all afford all of this shit? Because they broke as fuck. They ain't got no fucking money. Like these guys, a lot of these guys they'll go home working at the fucking firehouse and shit. Making sandwiches because they got to make ends meet, living with they fucking like lady, you know what I mean? Because she got a real world job. She the one making all the fucking money. These guys, a lot of them ain't got a lot of money. When I say ain't got a lot of money, I mean like they don't have much at all. Like you got to think about, like, if they're not making anything from the record, they're going on tour, they're getting some guarantee. You know what I mean? That guarantee, depending on how big that band is, it may pay for, you know what I mean, gas to get to the next spot, you know what I mean, get a little food in them or whatever, or something like that. And they're hoping that those merchandise sales and like make them all the money, you know what I mean? And then they got to split that among like 5 cats. The manager's getting 20% too. Booking agents getting his like whatever 10%. Like these motherfuckers ain't really making no money, man. Like, to be completely honest.
Yeah, and it's not even to knock them or their talent. It's
Yeah,
just
not
like
at all. A lot of these
they're-
guys, you know, they should be making money. They should be making. You're too talented to not be making money. There was a mistake made along the fucking way. And to be fair to these guys, a lot of it is just because it's the industry standard, is what they call it.
Yeah, Hickson's
how
in the
things
chat.
go.
I'm not really sure what Hickson does. I know that he's like an industry boy. He knows a lot. The labels are screwing
Yeah, 100%.
fans.
100%.
Just about all of them. He was saying you have to have balls and get that turned down 1 billion times. And it's so true about what you said. Even so many comedians I know, the guy is a touring comic, but his wife or girlfriend is the lawyer, is the 9-to-5 corporate job. She's got the health insurance. Someone's got to.
Yeah.
And I was lucky enough to kind of live, like have a foot in both worlds until I couldn't anymore because I wasn't vaccinated. And they're like, we can't let you in the building. I'm like, well, I guess I'm done now. I guess I'm done with day jobs now. But it was good. I think it was meant to be for sure.
Yeah, it happens like that.
Slack attack. I did that already. Corn pop. I'm a little broke. All right. You come on, make a plan, corn pop. CJ, it's amazing how you two have dealt with similar adversity in your respective lines of work. Hope you both come to Orlando G&G meetup. Oh yeah, I'll definitely be there. What is that? October 30th?
I think it's like October. I'm gonna see. Let's go. October's gonna be nuts for us, man. So I'm trying to get out there. They Vegas meetup that they're having is very soon as well.
It's very soon. That's like next Wednesday.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't swing that one. I really wanted to, but I just like financially, I would love to be able to go do everything, but unless I can attach a gig to it.
Yep, that's how it is. You got to make it make sense.
Yeah, but definitely, Sunday, October 30th is the FNT Geeks and Gamers meetup. But if you do happen to be in Orlando, Eric, come by the Content House. I'm renting a couple of houses in Orlando.
Okay.
It's like that Thursday through Saturday, basically. I mean, I'll be there probably Wednesday through Monday, but yeah, it'll be fun. A lot of fun characters. Elsa Barrett, hail Rippa, PayPal update.
Oh well, I have. We're supposed to have a meeting with me and my lawyers. My lawyers are local, by the way, and the firm that is. And I didn't know that they wanted to do it in person. Like they're like, hey, let's go. We're gonna link up. We're gonna chat about some next strategies and stuff. So they got pushed off to Friday. Tomorrow, Friday, I'll go. Them and I'll be linking up. We had already been talking. We got our letter prepared. They're gonna give me that fucking almost $1.3 million that those assholes are holding on to, that they're gonna come up out of.
Wow.
For sure. Yeah, it's crazy, right? Yeah, that much money is just sitting there making it.
What is it like? I would be like at the bank, like sitting video recording, like watching the money hit my account. Just be like,
oh yeah, once I get it,
have a watch party.
I'm getting it and I'm canceling my fucking account. Like and I'm gonna no matter when it gets got, that's what's gonna happen. But yeah, thankfully, I'd already paid for the project. I could imagine, if I was in a position where I needed that money to get my supplies, I'd be fucked. You know what I mean? Like I'd be entirely fucked. And that's what PayPal and them caring so much about fucking small businesses and bullshit is it shows you that they don't give a motherfucker about any of that. But imagine if I actually needed that fucking money.
I'm not like 100% up on what, do you think PayPal was screwing you because of like your politics, or you think just?
I don't want to believe that, but speaking with people, like they're like, look, man, to hold that much, there's got to be some level of intent that's involved. It's one thing for it to be like, hey, you got caught up in some algorithm or something, and it's like fucking $500. This ain't that. We're dealing with $1.3 million. That's almost. It's like 1.29, like is what it is. Like that much money. Something. People know, you know what I mean? And because they have everything it is they need to understand this is a legitimate endeavor. I'm not scamming anybody and all that shit. Like this is like, I don't want to believe that, that it has something to do with that, but we can't just write it off and say that it's not, you know what I mean? Like it can be done with intent.
So Sailor Mercury says PayPal had the nerve to virtue signal about BLM while doing this.
That's the hilarious part. Oh, we're giving all this money to black-owned businesses. Like, damn, you ain't giving me shit, and I ain't even asking for you to give me shit. I just want the money I'm owed. You know what I mean? That my customers fucking pay for the product with. That's it.
Hickson thinks it takes time to round up that money because they don't have it. He's very much a pessimist, Hickson. So
well, maybe they got some fucking issues, and they're like, they saw all that money come in, and they're trying to. I know they're making interest off it. You know what I mean? Like that's at minimum they're doing that.
Yeah, banks take your money and invest it. Yeah. It was weird. I mean, I think it was a few months ago. I just took out just like a few $1,000s from my bank just to pay cash for stuff because I'm like, I want to be a cash person. And the Bank of America was weird. They were weird about me taking out money, and I was like, why are you being so weird about this? It's like so. Elsa Barrett, hail Rippa. Did that. Disco Cobra, sup Rippa and Chrissy, just hopping in to say I got a copy of the seat cover.
Nice.
Going through a lot. Just lost my father. Going to be rough for me this year. Oh no.
Hey man, that's rough, man.
I lost a parent too.
Yeah, wife lost her mom this year, man. It's rough, man. Yeah,
you just have to embrace it. Just know that's like the next year you're just gonna be like crying at random times just give yourself a year to just be messy.
Yeah.
Ghost in the Craig, Chrissy FNT definitely got a stream with Backwards.
Oh, the band, that'd be metal as fuck. I'll be down.
I like it Backwards.
Let's do it.
Admiral, thank you. Benham ordered all 3. I think B has the biggest difference in real life versus the picture. The final product looks way cooler now that we've seen it on camera.
Oh yeah, cover B came out. This is the one you got, Chrissy.
Yes, I'm so excited.
Yeah, this came out. It came out. It looks good. It looks really, really good. So I'm glad people enjoy it. So yeah.
Did you get emotional over seeing Kristen Nova dressed up?
100%. It was her and another young lady. I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to get used to that. Like, there's a recording of like my actual reaction, like someone else that was, I forget, it's like a taco or something, like some other guy that YouTube's, he was recording the whole entire deal. When I showed up to Anime Matsuri and saw Krista as well as this other young lady, I saw her, the other young lady first. I don't know if I'm ever get used to that. You know what I mean? Like that was something that I was at a legitimate loss for fucking words. Seeing people cosplay characters that I create. I don't know if I'm ever get used to it, to be honest.
You're like, these books aren't even in people's hands yet.
Yeah, I know.
Costumes.
Shit, man. It like I said, I don't know if I'm ever gonna be able to get used to that. That was something special.
Did you cry a little bit?
Didn't cry it's just because I'm not built that way. I'm not wired like that. Like, yeah. If I was, let me say this: if I was wired that way, that would be the time I would do it. Like for sure, 100%.
I want to cry just thinking, but I cry like Hallmark commercials. Okay. D40. A while back, my bank asked me what I was getting $6,000 out for. I told them big rims and guns. Haven't been asked.
That's what you tell them for a platinum. Tell her you should tell me I'm getting a platinum grill.
Yes, I'm gonna be like, look, I'm buying a sex doll.
Now what? Make sure you write it down in the system too. That's what I got it for.
Getting a real doll. Yeah, it's so much, especially stuff you don't, for stuff that's business related. It's like you use your card, you can easily write that off. But especially when it comes to like holidays or like you're vacationing, you want to tip people and stuff. Like it's just I don't know, it's just easier. It's just easier. So. Oh man, we spent most of the time talking about Rippaverse, which is awesome. But I just wanted to get your take because I'm seeing a lot of people compare and bring up in the same vein the Batgirl cancellation, but not the Flash. Ezra Miller, I don't know. At this point, is there anything he can't do? He's messy. It's like short of murdering somebody. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, that guy's a menace.
He started a cult in Iceland. He had like people living with him,
choking bitches, throwing chairs, fucking beating up dark players for no reason. The guy's an absolute fucking menace. They've not like just come out and say we're distancing themselves from it, which is interesting. I don't know who's higher. Like, is the black woman, or she's my Latino, I don't know, a Latino or whatever, versus the they thems. Like, who's higher on like the kind of woke pole or whatever you want to call it. Not sure. Maybe we're learning right now. Maybe this is the experiment.
And most recently, charged with felony burglary in
Yeah.
Vermont. This is the latest thing. Every time you look him up, it's like a picture of him in lipstick. I'm just like, all right.
Yeah, like maybe again, I don't know who's higher on that little oppression, and who's the winner, like who's first place in the oppression Olympics. But maybe that's what we're seeing.
I think if you're a white male, you have to either commit to, bringing in makeup into your routine, or you have to go a little bisexual. You have to be a little bit of a they.
Yeah.
That's how you got to do it.
Yeah.
So, and I was hearing some folks say that, well, The Flash has to go through because that movie was further along. It was 2 years late. It was, I guess, more of it was done. Do you buy into that, or do you think he's just seen too many?
Well, I guess that could be part of it too. But I could see where that's a legitimate thing, because they're looking at it like maybe with whatever the plans are with the DCEU, because Flash was already announced. Flash, they've seen this Flash. Everybody, we haven't seen shit from this Batgirl. So it's like, it's way easier to say, all right, to hell with that project, than it is to some shit that made other things and other plans may be attached to it. But yeah, it also could be that the motherfucker's on some, he's doing some shit, some things to people, and maybe that's just part of the benefits.
Do you see, and I'm seeing a lot of articles about Batgirl, people blame racism. Do you see activists trying to bring about the release or the reprisal, or just, kind of bringing it back up from the trash can out of the reason of like, well, racism, so we have to release this movie?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's either going to be racism or whatever, homophobia, sexism, or whatever, anything that's been being canceled. I mean, we saw Vita Ayala, who is a DC Comics writer, bring that up, even though she's working for DC right now. She's writing a Nubia book, and she called the shit racism with the whole, it's like, man, these guys cocky, man. They can just say this shit to their employers like that. Any place else, you get fucking fired. But this is why you don't hire those types of weirdos anyway. But it goes to show, and the point I've made about these types for a very long time, for anybody seeking to be entrepreneurs and any right to be business folk, like the reason why these are not only the worst people to hire, but also the worst people to even cater to as terms of your target demographic is, you're seeing this right now. These people do not give a shit about the bottom line or anything. Their primary focus is, does your project, what does it do for us? Like, what does it do for us? Does it like check a box? Does it advocate whatever socially that we want them to advocate? That to them is more important than possibly fucking ruining your brand or losing millions of dollars. Now, yeah, with this project, they're already going to lose X amount of millions of dollars. But I've never been a believer of all publicity is good publicity anyway. And yeah, you could put some shit out that could ruin your rapport with your audience to the point to where they won't even bother to, some shit can be so bad that they'll say, nah, I'm not invested in anything that this company puts out anymore. And I think that's more of why Zaslav is like, well, this shit would have been so out of line with whatever. It's less about the woke shit, more like it's so out of line with what their plans is with DC going forward that it just wasn't worth putting out. And with some of these screening reports, people are saying like it was bad, like it was like very bad. So if it was that fucking bad, maybe you don't put it out. Maybe it's not even worth it. You write it off as a loss because it could fucking piss on your franchise even more than what you've already fucking done. And definitely with the new, you have people that are kind of like, hey, they're at least curious. I'm not saying they're believing in the new leadership, but they may be at least curious. Is it worth ruining that curiosity? That's I think the position that they're looking in. But the activists don't give a shit about that. They're looking at, oh, you canceled a character that was black and Latino or whatever she is. That's a problem. You should put it out anyway.
Look at all the other movies you released that didn't make what was spent on them. Like, I think you guys are cool with not making money. Come on.
Yeah, like they don't care. They don't care about your bottom line. They'd actually, hell, in some cases, prefer that you lose it. If it means that you are advocating what they want you or need you to, then they're all for it. They're 100% for it.
Because capitalism bad.
Yep.
So backwards. Yeah, Hickson says they'll make more money on the insurance than they will the release of the movie if they did their LLC right for it.
I can see that. It's going to be a write-off regardless. They're going to somehow benefit from it. But that just goes to show how fucked that movie had to have been. If they're just like, fuck it, man. Like it ain't worth putting it out. It had to been dog water, man. It had to be terrible. Holy shit.
People are upset. So let's tweet like, oh, here are some pictures from the set. Some people were saying it looked cheap. Like, does this look cheap to you? And it's like, okay, let it go.
Yeah. It does. And yeah, that's why they're not putting that shit out.
Oh man, JR Rippa is a good dude.
I met him at was it Anime Matsuri that I
think
saw
he
him?
was there. Yeah,
I think it was
I met
Anime
him
Matsuri where I met him
in Orlando.
Yeah, I think it was Anime Matsuri where he was hanging out. Big shout out to him.
Big shout out to him. Yeah, I'm in his profile picture. No big deal.
Yeah, no big deal at all.
Yeah, your tweets really do uplift me. Like even just when you'll tweet out like we're winning, I don't know, it makes me feel good because it's easy to get black pilled. It's easy to get upset. It's easy to get like wrapped up in like, oh, Trump, the FBI raided his house.
Yeah.
Like, what does that mean for the rest of us? Oh,
Yeah.
it's a little scary.
Yeah.
It's a little scary, but it's like, quick, girl, get a farm, quick. Like,
yeah, I feel you on that.
I'm telling myself that for the last 2 years, like, quick, move out of New York City. No, it's all good. I mean, I'm in the burbs, but yeah, it's a little nerve-wracking. We'll see what happens. I think it's just a sign of the left like truly panicking, and they're like, let's literally just throw the FBI at Trump and see if that. I mean, he's not gonna. He's definitely running. You're not gonna stop him. It's just gonna piss off the base.
Yeah, if anything, that's true.
But it's interesting. So what's next for the Rippaverse is just getting the copies and sending them out. Do they all arrive at once?
So that's why, if we didn't go through that 12,000 books like in 3 minutes, I would have sent them out already because we have the product, but we got to wait for that second stash. And I didn't want to release them like, okay, one like the beginning of August or something, when I got the first stash and be like, yeah, we're going to put them out and then spoil it for a month for the vast majority of the customers. I did not want to do that. That would have been a mistake. So we didn't do that. I wanted to release them more closer. So we're nailing down the exact date. We're trying to nail down with our printers the exact date. It'll arrive either late this month or very early September. And once we know what that date is, like probably a week before they get here, we'll start sending stuff out. So, they can at least arrive relatively near each other. And we still are going to send them by if you order them first, order number 1 is going to be the first one that goes out. So it still be that way.
But I ordered the B one. That's still number 1.
No, it's still, it's more of when you ordered. Less about which one, A, B, or C. It's more of when you ordered it. When that order came in, because we'll have all the product, we will be sending the orders in the order that you ordered. Sending the order in the order you ordered. That's yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I really hope that Mrs. Rippa is not licking envelopes. I'm thinking back to that episode of Seinfeld where George's fiance died from licking envelopes.
Yeah. No, we have the resealable resealable bag. So all she has to do is tear them off, put them back over, all good.
Okay, cool. Awesome. I'm so stoked. Thank you, NVIDIA Content Compound Incorporate. Oh yeah. I'm excited for the content house. Eric, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for taking time out of your warehouse day, warehouse work time to chat with me. I'm so excited. I cannot stop rooting for you. Like really like watching your success. It's like, it makes me want to kick my own ass. In so many different areas of my life. So keep at it. Let me know how I can help always. And thank you to the chat for your questions and comments. And we'll talk to you soon. Bye.